You get into a relationship, women subconsciously start taking your masculinity away. Oh, babe, you always want to play basketball with your friends on Saturday. Don't you want to play basketball? Don't you want to do something with me on Saturday? Shouldn't that be date night? You know, I've always played basketball, blah, 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 but next time the boy's like, maybe we won't extend the season. Yeah, good idea. And then slowly you start losing yourself. Slowly. Yeah. And now you got these photos of you're in Disneyland because she wants to go there. She's got one leg up with the biggest smile on her face, and you're just thinking, I'm just a slave to this relationship.
Nah, man, you can't. Don't be that guy.
Definitely don't be that guy. But everyone's that guy. There's so many simps that's happening. I would say more people. Not everyone. Not everyone, of course. No. You can't generalize, but I'd say most people are.
Yeah, but most people are. The average is not. You don't want to be average. It's, you. I think as a man in particular, it's increasingly insufficient to just be average, because the world is becoming more competitive, and also the state of average is declining in a way, right? If you were average in 1950, you were in good shape. You were in good shape, and you were healthy, and you were mentally sound. If you're average now, you're overweight or obese, right? You're not in a, maybe there's a 50-50 chance you've got some type of mental condition or depression or anxiety, or you're taking some medication. You lack confidence, whatever. You're earning, I don't know, depending on the country. If you're in the UK, what's the average salary? 20-something grand a year. 30, yeah. Yeah, US maybe like 45 or something. And I'm not trying to denigrate anybody, but that used to be good enough, right? That used to be good enough. Whereas now, just with the price of things, the price of housing, the various situations, things happening socially, culturally, it's like you've got to just keep leveling up. But again, I think that's in a way, I'm like, cool. Well, that's in your control. That's in your control. You might not like the fact that the world is getting harder in some ways. You might not like the fact that it's harder to buy a house now than it was for your father or your grandfather, perhaps. That kind of sucks in a way. But it's also just like, okay, well, what are you gonna do about it? Again, it comes back to the complaining thing. There's a lot of things we can complain about. Or there's people, the reason I'm fat is because we need to, it's because of the advertising. My insulin. It's because of what they're putting. It's because of what they're putting in the food.
I'm big boned.
It's like, yeah, I can. Two things can be true. Yeah. It can be true that, say, in the U.S. in particular, the food industry, the drug industry, the advertising industry, whatever, like all those things are working against you, right? They're working to make you fat. They're working to make you depressed. They're working to have you on prescription drugs, whatever it is. That is true. And there are some reforms that could and should be made there. But in the meantime, if you live there or if you're visiting there, it's up to you to choose what you put in your mouth and to choose what you do, right? You can't be getting drunk all the time and you're blaming it on the alcohol companies. Well, it's Diageo's fault, right? Their advertising is too good, right? You've got some gambling habit and you're wasting all your money and you're blaming it on, that's Caesar's Palace's fault. It's like, no, bro, like I can walk through Caesar's Palace and not gamble my money. Yeah. So you need to, again, it comes back to that self-control thing. Self-control, discipline, absolutely.
Average not being good enough. I mean, that's in New York City. I remember one night I was talking to a girl and she said to me, tell me your most controversial opinion. And I said to her, the hardest man to be in today's world is an average man. Yeah. In a world where you have social media and you got these guys compared to the Dan Bilzerians and the Andrew Tates and, you don't have a Bugatti? Oh my God, like, I'm not going to go with you. It's like, listen.
By the way, if a girl won't go with you because you don't have a Bugatti, then you don't want to be with her.
100% you don't want to do it. Yeah. But what am I doing in Dubai then? There's another thing called, have you heard of the term hoflation?
Yes.
So what's the stats on that then? It's like you need to work 5 times as hard as your granddad to get a woman 14 times as value. You know what I mean?
I've never heard those specific numbers. I want to know who did the calculation.
I know.
14 is such a specific, like 14.2.
So you need to work five times as hard as your granddad to get a woman 14 times as less of value as your grandma. Okay. Something like that.
Yeah. Sounds like a bit of an exaggeration, but I get the point.
Potentially, probably exaggeration, right? So, as I was telling you before, I was in a relationship recently, right? I broke up with her, and she said to me, I was never gonna be with you anyways. And I said to her, I think she was hurt. I said to her, well, why were you with me? She goes, read between the lines. Are you dumb? Meaning, you pay for everything. I live here for free. And I said, so what's your plan in all this? She goes, I'm just going to find a rich man. I'm going to use his resources to make myself rich.
Oh, honesty.
Very honestly. And I looked at it and I said, finally, you and I are having an honest conversation. Women like that didn't exist back in our grandma's days.
I think they always did, bro. Women were better in the past, as men were as well.
Sure.
I think that's fair to say generally.
So there's a lot of fuckery going on
But
now.
I think that we also look back with rose-tinted glasses. I mean...
As we do with everything.
2,000 years ago, you had prostitutes, you had women doing like whatever, right? I think maybe the difference is now like the line between quote unquote normal woman and a harlot. I like that term.
Yep.
Is a little more blurry in some cases,
Yep.
right? When you have all these women doing like OnlyFans or whatever.
Yep.
But also let's not pretend that like 90% of majority of women are out there doing OnlyFans and stuff like that. That's not reality.
No.
Obviously, the number has gone up. The percentage of people involved in that type of stuff has gone up, but it's still very small, and it's an even smaller number that are even like actually making any decent money. Like the average earnings on OnlyFans, I think, is under $200 a month.
Wow,
Right.
That's the average.
That's the average.
Okay.
Right. So for every story you hear about, oh, that girl's making $100K plus a month, it's like there's another 1,000 who are making $100 a month.
That's like every industry. Real estate agents,
Yeah.
that's all of them.
Yeah. So I think that's another thing that even sells girls on certain dreams, and the reality is even worse. Yeah, girls don't do OnlyFans, don't do it.
Yeah. If you like this video, consider subscribing. We do weekly podcasts with experts in every industry to help you find direction and guide you on your way. Now let's get back into it. With the testosterone falling off the cliff, right? I find that relationships, women start to subconsciously demasculinize the man, and then now she's got this puppet. Now that she's got this puppet that she can do whatever she wants with, babe, let's go to Disneyland. He doesn't want to go to Disneyland. All right, no worries, let's go to Disneyland. Yeah. So now she's got this man of a thing that's not much of a man, and he's a bit of a puppet, and she can do whatever she wants with him. But over time, she starts losing respect for him.
Yeah, she resents it.
Of course, she resents it. She starts losing respect, and then she now resents the thing that she created.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you turn that girl bad, it's your fault. That's the hard thing about being a man. It's like, I look at my ex and I'm like, she turned like this, but it's my fault. I have to take responsibility for that. I should have been a man. Yeah. So it's the same thing with a lot of men that I see. It's just somebody said to me on a podcast, they said,
Do you know what, man? I think, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Finish that statement.
A guy on a podcast said to me, a man and a woman can live together peacefully if they don't love each other.
Interesting.
Because if you love each other, then you start breaking the rules and start breaking the boundaries. And the boundaries is what keeps everything intact. Continue, sorry.
Yeah. I was going to say that I think a lot of the problems that are going on now with the sort of modern day dating and mating market is that I don't know anything about your religious beliefs, but people are violating and inverting God's laws and the way that we're supposed to do things in the natural order of everything, and then they're shocked that it's not working out. Right? So the whole idea of men and women is being conflated, and we're pretending that they're the same and interchangeable but different, and social constructs and whatever. Men aren't really men, women aren't really women, whatever. Meanwhile, what men seek in women hasn't changed. What women seek in men hasn't changed. The things that make a man feel like happy and proud and dutiful, like men, we are driven to create excess resources.
Yep.
Right? We're driven to create excess resources so that we can bond with a woman, we can have children, and we have excess resources. You have more than you need for yourself to live, right? And you have a desire to have more, because it's hardwired in you biologically. Gather excess resources, make more, so that I can have dependence and I can share this with them. It's hardwired in men. Like, why are people chasing success, money, farmland, whatever it is? It's like creating that excess. Men have that drive so much stronger than women do. But what women have is the nesting and the nurturing instinct.
Correct.
Right? So, okay, with those resources, I will make new humans, and then we will raise them and we'll care for them, and I can literally feed them with my own body. Like, it's all, I mean, to me, this is all designed by God. Like, this is how it's supposed to be. And in the modern dating market, people are just like effing it all up.
Sure.
Right? Like, you're just detaching all these things that are meant to be interconnected and work together in a specific way and function. People are kind of like throwing that all out, or they're distorting it, or they're inverting it and whatever. And actually it's causing a lot of pain and misery for men and women.
Sure.
So for example, human beings we are a pair bonding species. Someone can have an argument about whether, monogamy is totally quote unquote natural or not or whatever, right? But we clearly are pair bonding species, right? Men and women we catch feelings, we join to people, we fall in love, it's the most normal and natural thing. There's a reason why breakups hurt so much, right? It's not actually natural. I don't think we're supposed to experience multiple breakups throughout our lives, right? A breakup is like a mini death. You're not meant to experience like 10 relationships and 10 breakups and, oh, this guy ghosted me and that girl broke my heart. And you're not meant to deal with so much. I don't even like the word trauma because it's overused, but like, you're not meant to deal with so much of that. It's not it's meant to be maybe like once or twice, two, it doesn't work out, but then cool, boom, we got it, we bonded. I found the one and let's go. Full steam ahead, no more heartbreak, no more other people getting involved, no more ghosting, no more this or that. Oh, this guy didn't call me back. This guy, like, whatever. So people are like running themselves through this grinder, and it's bad for men and women. I think it's particularly bad for women, right? Because they're just not meant to be. It's completely against their nature. It's completely against their nature. And so like there's all these games being played and whatever, and like, I understand it all on a sort of like animalistic level, but it's just like, man, this is not how this thing is meant to be ordered. You look across every society, every culture, every nation that has survived and thrived, they all promote chastity, monogamy, lifelong pair bonding, marriage, raising children in a certain structure. And when you dissolve that or you deviate from it, you see all the drama that unfolds, right? You can literally predict. You can go to a nation like the UK, US, Australia, Canada. You can predict the success of any community or any demographic just by knowing the rates of marriage and intact families. Like completely. You can correlate it to the crime rate. You can correlate it to the education rate. You can correlate it to the income level. You find a place where, okay, the rate of children growing up without a father or in a broken family or whatever is under 10%. You already know there's going to be low crime, it's going to be high education, it's going to be high income, whatever. And you go to the opposite. It's all right, tons of crime, tons of degeneracy, all of these things. And to me, it's all very obvious, right? It's all obvious. This was worked out thousands of years ago, and people are just forgetting it all again and going against it all and trying to recreate the wheel, and it's not working. Like women are getting miserable, men are getting miserable, people are getting angry and frustrated. Oh, where are all the good men? Oh, where are all the good women? Isn't it funny that both men and women are like, where are the good? Where's the good other one? And it's like, that doesn't even sort of add up. It's like, wait, how can there be all these young women who are like, oh, it's impossible to find a good guy, and there's all these men who are like, oh, it's impossible to find. I'm like, well, that doesn't seem to match up. Like in one way it makes sense, but in another you're like, well, like y'all just can't you find each other, and and you don't need to date the entire world. Like you just need to find like one person, right? So it might be the case that like there aren't that many great women out there, but it's like, well, there's 4 billion women, well, females, that's maybe 3 billion women in the world. I'm like, you can't find one? There's 3 billion men in the world, so you can't find one who you like, he likes you, you've got similar vision and values, and like you're attracted to each other, and it clicks. I mean, I don't know. It's we're in a very weird stage, but I think that we're making a lot of, on a societal cultural level, I think people are sort of making a lot of very obvious mistakes. It's almost like, look, you've got a rule book. Here's the guide of what works, and people are like, nope, throw it away. And they're making up their own version, and then they're going through this mess, and they're like, why is it not working? Why is it not working? Why is it not working? And then funnily enough, when people get a bit more experience and they're a bit older and wiser, you find that they tend to become a bit more like, they tend to go back to a more sort of conservative or traditional mindset ultimately, because they realize again, oh, okay, that does that does work,
Yeah.
and that is functional, and that does make me feel happy and stable and comfortable, and look, it's good for the children too, and whatever. So, yeah, it's funny.